and see what's going on. That's for the development teams, the infrastructure teams. And again, all they have to do is just click on that. They'll take them exactly into where that plan is running. And then this is step 3. So some of you might not know what Sentinel is. So Sentinel is this policy as code framework that you can use to integrate into your developers' kind of CI/CD workflows. And so this is just an example of a policy. And I'm just going to run through it real quick. These are really simple policies to make. The policy framework is not meant for developers. It's actually meant for people that create the policies, the authors, right? This is the people in the security and compliance team. So it's a very easy language to use for those folks. It's not meant for developers. And so this is just an example of what has happened. So in this policy, what we're looking at is this top one in the policy one is to restrict the VM sizes. This is very important for the security and compliance teams. They want to make sure that they're not getting these overrun costs. People are provisioning these huge instances, right, that are really costly. So what's happened is they put in a policy that only allows certain VMs to be provisioned for this application. So it's very fine-grained policies. Within Terraform, they have that plan. So anything that's in that Terraform plan file, you can actually create a policy for, right? And so the next piece is they have to make sure in this policy, in this rule set, that the VMs are that size. And the other thing that they have to do, another common thing within the industry or within the organizations is to make sure that everything is tagged, right? So we're enforcing metadata to be put in to a VM. So they cannot provision a virtual machine unless they have that required metadata that their security and compliance teams require, or the IT departments. So in this case, we've made sure that they can't, without these 4 kind of different metadata tags, that policy check will fail. And then here.
So should we pause here?
Yeah, I think it's a good time to pause because there's a lot here within Sentinel. So what happens is, again, there's that trigger. This one is for the security and compliance teams. Now they know that they've got a policy that they need to check. They need to go in there and make sure that it conforms with their best practices and their guidelines. And so it's very easy for them to come in, just click on that, review that policy that we were showing you. The nice thing about using Sentinel is you're using policy as code. So we're leveraging infrastructure as code, and we're leveraging policies as code. There's a lot of advantages to that. By doing that, you can leverage things like version control, right? You can, Sentinel has a testing framework. So as developers are running through their CI/CD workflows, and once they get through their integration testing component, it has a piece in there where they can create what they call a Sentinel mock file, and they can perform their tests for their deployments against these policies as they're running through their existing workflows to see, am I going to pass, right, before I try to even initiate a run. And so there's no security and compliance teams. What happens is these people, the teams have already authored these policies, and they put them within Terraform Cloud. You can put them at the organization level, so those policy applies against anything that you're trying to run, or you can put them at what Terraform calls the workspace level. In this case, I did it for the workspace for this application, and so that allows them to really, we don't want to slow down the developers, right? As the IT team, I want to enable those development teams to run through those policies to be able to check those out. And so they are confident when they're ready to do that deployment that everything's going to run through those policies are going to check out. And then literally this is a 4-step process. I just want to back up. So one other thing here is these policies are code. So the security and compliance teams don't have to go back to some wiki or some Word document, try to run through this thing. What are our best practices for this? What do we do here? Oh, how do I limit these? And then they have to go in there and look at that plan file and scrub through that thing and figure all that out, right? It's very, very time consuming. That's what really slows down those processes. So it's treating it as code and letting them integrate that into their testing. It lets them just continue right through their workflow. Last step of the is hey, we have to deploy it into RSVC. So these are the final actions that take place. This is where the infrastructure teams come in at the end of that process. All those policies have been checked, they've been validated, verified, and so now the infrastructure team is coming in. They're just going to do a final review in this case, right, of that plan, and then in this case, they've approved it because they confirmed with the dev teams that they were ready to deploy that Blazor application. They do confirm on that. It's built. It's ready to go. It's finished up. So what we're trying to do is help our customers streamline and reduce that time to delivery for our development teams, because they work within those CI/CD workflows, right? We want to enable that. And that policy as code framework really helps for those development teams to keep rolling along without waiting on me on the infrastructure team or the security guys to go back and review some process somewhere, right? So very important. I just wanted to kind of highlight how simple 4 steps. The nice thing is everybody's able to collaborate into that single Teams channel and be able to make comments. Oh yes, we're ready to go. We're approved that, right? So they're all collaborating together into that one central location so that they can streamline that build process. And then again, here's the final trigger, right? So once they've clicked that, they can see that that run has been applied and that those notifications have been sent to the team. So this is that final verification of that last notification that's coming in to let them know the build has been complete. We're all good to go. A couple of takeaways of these perspectives. I just want to highlight again, Rackspace has that DevOps as a service support model that we call Elastic Engineering. That's what we use to help our organizations modernize their IT ops. We can help you transform as well, right, by leveraging those core tenets, always thinking about those, and those are our guiding principles. And then Rackspace is here to help solve those toughest challenges for our IT organizations wherever you're at in your journey. And that's where we can help with the combination of our Rackspace services for VMware product, that platform, along with that service model that we can help apply on top of there to give you that full end-to-end experience and really integrate into your teams, help with that, enable that collaboration across your organization.
So Matt, that sounds amazing. This is a modern way to deliver infrastructure, and it incorporated all the tenets that you talked about. So this is absolutely fabulous. Now, I just have to throw you a little bit of a curveball because we thought we were going to go overtime, and we've actually got 5 minutes for questions.
What?
I know.
All right.
So if anybody out here has any questions that they'd like to ask Matt about what he just went through, please feel free.
So how do you integrate this with the multi-cloud universe?
Multi-cloud universe? Yes. That's the beauty of Terraform Cloud, right? So it doesn't matter where that destination is, right? So I can use this same platform, the same policy framework, all of that across our Rackspace clouds, as well as any of the multi-clouds, right? So I can apply this same methodology to AWS, Azure, whatever it might be, all, again, into that centralized platform to enable that collaboration across all those teams. So absolutely, this platform is good for any of those clouds.
What I like to see is like a dashboard, because our India team is using VMware here, our India team is using Azure. We got all these different environments that will tie in.
Right.
So we're already on multi-cloud.
Yeah. So
And
you
if you could repeat the question.
Yeah, so he wants to see if that can help. He's got teams that are working on the public cloud, right? They're already multi-cloud, right? How do I do this? So this will allow those teams, you can actually create organizations, right, within Terraform to where you can build that organization for that team. You can build another one for them. They have their own little workspaces that they can operate in. However, you can still allow that collaboration and the sharing of like reusable, policies, codes, things like that, because we're keeping them all up there into Terraform Cloud that all the teams can leverage. So absolutely, you can certainly cut across any of this. This example would be just as good with any of the other clouds.
Any other questions? Well, I don't think you might say. Okay, are we better? Yeah. Okay, just had to check. So thank you very much for being here. If you'd like to talk They're all over at the Rackspace booth at 1602, and we would love to see you. We've got chocolate.
And I think we have some giveaways
And we
maybe
have
as
some
well,
giveaways,
right?
so
So
thank you for
yeah,
coming,
come on up and these are some nice wireless chargers.